Welcome back, and hope you are enjoying our coverage of Day 2 of the 2019 Australian Open on Nine's Wild World of Sports. Enjoying Nine's summer of tennis immensely. Now we've got a huge match tonight. It is Nick Kyrgios up against Milos Raonic, and our commentator who is calling that match tonight, Todd Woodbridge, has been good enough to swing by our set here just beside Margaret Court Arena to preview that match tonight, because this is one that I've personally been anticipating. We both saw Nick Kyrgios up close and personal at the Fast Four tournament last week in Sydney. And, you know, love him or loathe him, Todd, you've got to watch him, don't you? You want to watch him.
Well, absolutely you do. It's going to be a big one too tonight, when we get in with John McEnroe. John McEnroe and I'll be in the booth, and he's really looking forward to watching this one. But it's a winnable match for Nick. When we were talking in the draw show about a floater in the draw, that's Nick Kyrgios, who's unseeded, coming up against a seed. When Milos saw this, he's going, oh no, because he has the ability, that's Nick, to be able to beat anybody. And it's a match-up tonight that are similar styles. Points are going to be short. Everything points towards a potential upset.
Nick needs to overcome poor form at majors, though. He doesn't perform well.
Well, yes and no. He hasn't recently. I mean, these two have actually played on several occasions, but two of them in big ones. When Nick made his breakthrough, they played at the quarterfinals of the US Open. Raonic won that. Then the next year, Nick went on to beat him at Wimbledon. So they've got form in the slams. And the one thing that Nick hasn't really done over the past few years is be able to concentrate through the length of the 5-set matches. We've seen him have some battles out here on Melbourne Arena, where he's going to play tonight. He loves that crowd, the atmosphere. He can get up 2 sets and then he has a lull. And within that lull, he has to try to expand the points and get through that, and then he's okay. It's about, you know, being mentally strong when he comes off his levels of concentration. Yeah,
that's the key to Nick Kyrgios' game, isn't it? Compare the game styles for us, because they're actually very similar, which is going to make for fascinating viewing, isn't it?
Well, they're going to be short points, that's for sure, because they're both terrific servers. Both have 2 of the biggest serves in the game. The difference between the two, as we look at them, is that Nick Kyrgios has the better second serve. So if Raonic is having let's say, a poorer serving day, Nick's got to take advantage of that. What we've seen so far with Goran Ivanisevic, who's working with Raonic, is he's going to be using that shot there that we can see in vision right now. The forehand's a big one. He gets around and uses that.
And this is him just practicing earlier today.
It is indeed, and we'll see him come into the net a lot, because that's the influence of Ivanisevic. He's worked very well on his volleys. When he had his great run at Wimbledon, Raonic, and got through to the final, he was working with John McEnroe on coming forward. The technique improved a lot then, and it's got even better again now. So that's the one thing that Nick's got to do. If he can keep them in baseline valleys and get the big man, he's 6'5", Raonic, moving from side to side, that's the weaker part of his game.
Just want to ask you one quick question. You talk about bringing people in to help you with your game. Why doesn't Nick Kyrgios have a permanent coach?
Well,
I just find that fascinating. Or maybe this will take too long to answer.
No, we would all love to see that. First and foremost, though, as a player, you have to want to accept the information that's given to you.
Yep.
And I think when that happens, it's challenging you on a daily basis, because you have to then report to somebody, and Nick doesn't like that type of thing.
Here's an idea. What about Andy Murray?
Well, that was flouted around very quickly yesterday when you know he finished his last match here, whether he'd actually go out and take something like that on, because Nick posted in his social media that his great respect for him, that he understands Andy, thinks Andy understands him. The thing is that if Andy were to go there, having worked with Lendl and his own work ethic, he would push Nick to places he hasn't been before, and you've got to ask, okay, is he ready to actually do that?
Okay, let's have a listen to Nick Kyrgios now, ahead of this year's Australian Open. Nick, first round, Milos Raonic. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, obviously a very tough first round here at the Australian Open. But you know, I was well aware that I could have drawn anyone here being unseeded. But obviously, super excited to just be a part of the Australian Open again, the Aussie summer. It's obviously my favourite time of the year. So I'm looking forward to getting out there with Milos. As you've said, we've played a lot of times, so we both know what's coming.
How does it feel to play the Australian Open compared with any other tournament, given you spent half your life here, really?
Yeah, it's by far the best tournament in the world. I think with the upgrades they've done this year again, it's no other tournament gets anywhere near it. And all the players have obviously told me what they think of it as well, and they obviously love it here. So the Australian Open is just so special to me. I lived in Melbourne for 2 years and I trained at Melbourne Park, so played juniors here a lot as well. So I feels like obviously there's a lot of excitement and nerves every time you come here. Obviously the spotlight goes on all the Australian players, and I feel it's an exciting time for Australian tennis. There's so many players we have in the draw, both sides, men and women. So I think it's a very exciting and special time for Australian tennis.
There's been a lot of talk about how relaxed you seem at the moment, and you're pretty happy. Is that a fair assessment of where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. I think my goal this year is just to, on a day-to-day basis, try and be happier and try and enjoy what I'm doing. And just try and get to a space where I can go out there and just enjoy myself and compete. And I think Aussie Summer's the best way to do that. Get out there in front of the home fans, back at home, and just play some good tennis.
And just finally, talking about, there's a lot of talk also that the sports psychologist, the help that you've been getting there. What's been the impact so far, and where do you hope that will eventually lead?
I hope it leads me into getting into a happier place than I was last year. Obviously, tennis side of things, I'm getting help with, but it was more just general life, like just literally waking up. It was the simpler things like just getting up and being happy. And I think where I'm at the moment was night and day from where I was, say 4 months ago when I was really struggling on the tour. So, everything's going well at the moment. Obviously, a lot of work needs to be done. I understand that, it's not going to be so easy the next couple of weeks. Obviously, being on the spotlight, playing with the pressures, and I obviously put a lot of expectation on myself always around the Aussie Summer. So I'm just going to try and get through this as well as I can, and then obviously keep trying to improve off the court.
So Nick Kyrgios is on court tonight, later on this evening up against Milos Raonic, and Todd Woodbridge has stopped by to preview that match tonight. You are calling that match with John McEnroe, which I'm also interested in, because John McEnroe has been very vocal on Nick Kyrgios, his behaviour, his game, but he loves him.
He absolutely loves him. One of the things that he has done at the Laver Cup, Nick loves a team event, we know that, because it takes a bit of pressure off him. It's not just him, it's someone to work it through, whether it be the bench or the captain, and in this case John McEnroe has been the captain. So we're going to hear the insights of what it's been like to sit courtside with Nick under pressure, because there was a moment in the first Laver Cup in Prague where Nick came out underprepared, or a little sort of cold, if you like, in his first couple of games with McEnroe. And McEnroe's going, well, why are you like this? Why didn't you warm up? And he asked all these questions, and there was no escape for Nick within this conversation. And it was unbelievable viewing, because McEnroe is sitting here going, fuming at him. Nick knows he's got a great fuming at him. They're live on television, live on court, and Nick actually, he sucked it up, and he came out and he played some brilliant tennis. And so McEnroe has that extra into Nick's head that a lot of us don't. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about it in this match.
Is there any danger that John McEnroe is going to bust out of the commentary booth tonight and get on court and drag him off and say, what are you doing?
You know what? He'll certainly talk about it, because he is fond of him. He loves the talent he has, and I think he would love to see him actually use it all and go deep in tournaments, because it's fun to watch. It's creative. But they're two people that, in a strange way, really do understand each other.
There's no doubt that both of them are extremely talented in what they do and what they've done. Todd Woodbridge, thank you very much for stopping by. We look forward to your call tonight. Look forward to Nick Kyrgios and Milos Raonic. Also tonight, you can see they are top billing there, the men's singles first round. Also, the women's singles tonight will see the US Open champion from 2018, Naomi Osaka, and also the #1 in the world, Simona Halep, is on court for her first match.